All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Yahweh is going to attack, right? Yahweh is going to attack the pride of you women, man, right? And there's a translation of the Bible that he's called God's Word translation. And when you read Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, it goes in on you women even more, man. But I'm not going to read that version for this lesson. What I'll probably do instead is copy and paste the whole chapter or the whole verses that I'm about to read now. I'll copy and paste it into the comment section, right? That's Lord will. I'll remember to do that, man. But I'm gonna read Isaiah the 3rd chapter, starting from the 16th verse anyway, which goes into how pretty much Yahweh is gonna destroy the pride of the Israelite woman. All right, he's gonna take away all the things that make the Israelite woman be proud in this society. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. So what's that mean? It means because the women of the nation are arrogant, man, they got a high level of pride, right? And they think that their stuff don't stink, man. Right? They're arrogant, they think that they're not only now do they think that they're equal to men, but they think that they're better than men, right? They might have a job that pays them the average salary for whatever country they live in, but they'll act like they're a millionaire, right? They'll act like they're a millionaire, man. I remember I saw one video on the internet with a Latino woman, man, and she was like boasting about how she makes so much money. She said, I make too much money to be dealing with a guy like this, right? And then she said how much she made, and it was like $30,000 or something like that a year, excuse me. And then they panned to the guy and asked him what he made, right? And he said he makes 10,000 or something like that, $10,000 a month, right? Which money is not a thing that you should get proud of. But the point I'm making is that if anyone was to be proud for their finances, it should have been him instead of her, because he made 4 times what she makes. But she thought that she was better than him because she made 30,000, but he made 120,000. So if money was something to be boasting in, he should have been the one to boast. But he was more humble than her, man. And it just shows that the women really think that they are better than the men, man. And Yahweh's going to take away every single thing that they have that makes them be proud, man, which he's going to do to everybody anyway. But the women are going to be the most affected by this, because once these things are taken away from the woman, they're going to realize really the position that they're in, and that they was never better than men. They're going to realize that. Verse 17, therefore Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown, therefore Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts, and he's discovering it already. He's realizing that these women are going, taking their passports, and they had a whole problem with all this passport bro stuff, right? But you come to find out that they're the ones that are really going on these holidays and freaking off. It's really them going over to all these places and doing all these things that they're trying to project that the men do. Because as long as Israelite men have existed on this earth, the Israelite woman has always had a scapegoat for anything that she does wrong. So if she don't raise her child right, it's because the father weren't around, right? So the father gets blamed if the child messes up, if he's there, and the father gets blamed if he weren't there, right? But if the child comes into some kind of success, then the mother gets all the praise, even if the father was there, right? And you'll have these basketball players that have got a 5'5" mama, right? But the basketball player is 6'8", talking about I want to thank my mom. Well, your mom ain't the reason that you're 6'8", mate. It's your dad that's the reason. Your mom ain't the reason why you can dunk from the free throw line. It's your dad's genetics that passed over. Because your mom's 5'5". Your dad was 6'4". So if you should be thanking anyone for that kind of stuff, shouldn't it be the father? But this world don't care for men. But that's all right, man. Because this world is wicked. And it just so happens that why is it that the most wicked society that we've ever lived in, right, raises the women up? Obviously, that's a sign that when you raise women up in a society, wickedness comes too, right? Obviously, that's a sign that that's the case. Verse 18, Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 18, in that day, Yahweh will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets. Now, Israelite woman loves a bonnet right now, man. For when their head tops yam out, man. You think we don't know all the tricks? We putting that bonnet on your head with a weave on, and now that whole bonnet thing's gone so mad, right? That even Israelite males be wearing it. I've seen Israelite males wearing that, man, over here in the West Midlands, man. I've seen that wearing a bonnet on their head. I've seen it with my eyes, man. I've seen men wearing bonnets on their head. And if you go on the internet and you look it up, you see men wearing it, man. It's not, they've transcended from the wave cap. They're wearing a bonnet like a woman now. That's something that women used to wear in a hair salon. When they used to be a little kid, you might get taken. Your female parents going to, your mom's going to get her hair done or whatever, and you're too young. Your dad might be somewhere else. You get taken to the hair salon. You see women with that stuff on their head in the hair salon. That used to be a thing that women used to have in the hair salon, man. Not wearing out in public, right? Like it's part of, like it's a hat. But Yahweh's going to take away that even. All the things that women put on their hair, all the type of things, the head wraps and that women wear and all these things to beautify themselves. He's going to take all of it away, man. All the access to all those things that women wear to make themselves look beautiful, so that men simp over them. All that stuff's going to be taken away. And then what's going to be there? Just a woman looking regular. The bonnets and verse 20, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands, and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles, and the wimples and the crisping pins. So there ain't gonna be no more yoga pants when all hell breaks loose. And if a woman's got the chance to pick up some clothes that she knows she's gonna be in for the rest of her time, and she might not get to pick another outfit, you think they're gonna be wanting to pick yoga pants, or booty shorts with a scrunch back to raise up the glutes, so it looks like the woman's been putting in more time in the gym than she has. But if she takes off those yoga pants, the things spill out, bruh. Straight up, man. All that deception is gonna be taken away. All the filters, all the I miss what I used to look like. I'm gonna go on a de-aging app on TikTok and see what I used to. You look like my former glory. They're gonna realize that glory days of them looking young ain't ever coming back, man. It's not coming back. And all the pride and all the wickedness that they did in that time is gonna jump into their mind at that time, man. And they're gonna realize that they messed up big time, man. And they're gonna remember that day when they walked past and saw men teaching the Bible and laughed at them, man. They're gonna remember when they was playing with their hair, zhuzhing up their hair, laughing and mocking, man. They're gonna remember when they said to men, "You're gonna see me on the day of the Lord." They're gonna remember when they said that, man. They're gonna remember when they said to men, "I pray that I see you." When all of this goes bad, they're gonna remember that they said that stuff, man. Verse 24. In fact, verse 23. The glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. So they ain't gonna have the cocoa butter is gonna run out, man. The shea butter, right? The almond oil, the coconut oil, right? All the things that they use to beautify themselves is gonna be run out in that day, man. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink. And Yahweh's already did this to the Israelite woman, man. Sometimes when you walk past the Israelite woman, and I'm not saying this to try and, it's time to bash the so-called black woman. No, I'm saying this because it's true, man. Sometimes when you walk past the so-called Israelite woman, right? Because I have to say so-called for this case, because they don't carry themselves like that. When you walk past the so-called black woman, man, right? Let me say it that way. When you walk past the so-called black woman, sometimes they'll be smelling weird, man. It's like I don't even know how to explain it, bro. It's like a sweaty, weird, it's like a weird smell that you be smelling on them sometimes. And that's not all of them. But it's definitely the ones that are wicked that we have in there. Because they've been cursed, man. But they don't see it as a curse. The Israelite woman's good at faking like the things that are a curse ain't nothing, man. And that's why they run around saying things. In fact, let me read this, verse 24. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle of rent, and instead of well set hair, boldness, which is the reason why you got the Israelite woman. That's the only woman that be running around always talking about some good hair this, good hair that. Oh, I want that good hair. Oh, I need that good hair. And when we was younger, right, people that are in their 50s, 40s, and 30s, when they would have been younger, they would have known that they would have just always noticing that the Israelite man's hair is in a better condition than the Israelite woman's hair, and that the Israelite man can grow hair a lot quicker than the Israelite woman. An Israelite man would cut his hair off after for a haircut or whatever, right? And then within a couple of months, if he didn't get it cut again, it would grow back. But let an Israelite woman have cut her hair off, and she ain't ever seen that hair again a lot of the time, man. It just wouldn't grow at the same speed because the Israelite woman's been cursed with that hair thing, man. She's been cursed with that boldness, but they have found ways around it, man. And that's why you've got this whole weave thing going on right now. The only ones that need to wear weave is the so-called black woman. Maybe some of the other tribes of Israel have to do it too, but they don't have to do it nowhere near as much, man, because the Israelite woman, the southern kingdom tribes, because that's where the tribe of Judah's from, is the main ruler among women, man. And that's why I remember I heard some of the elders, some of the brothers from the elders and the brothers from the Great Millstone Dallas camp mentioned the interview that Rampage Jackson had on No Jumper, and I went and watched that interview, and he said it exactly like how they said. He said that his mom, that he used to date a Japanese woman or whatever, right, was married to her, and his mom started getting in her ear, and by the time that his marriage was coming to the end, his Japanese wife was acting like LaQuisha and Shaniqua, Shanae it off, snapping her fingers, twisting her neck and all that, acting like a hood rat, man. Acting like that. A Japanese woman. She basically corrupted his wife, man. She corrupted his wife against him. When that's none of her business. You would never see a dad, a father tell his son something like that, man. You would never see a father that had his father in his life tell his son that he should be and twist his son against him, man. You wouldn't see that. That's wicked, man. And this is part of the reasons as to why the Israelite woman is going to get destroyed and jacked up in that day, man. When the world goes bad and all the things that she's glorified herself in are going to be taken away. That's why she ain't got no hair now. That's why she struggles with that hair thing, man. And some of you will be trying to pretend like you're wearing a head wrap because you're trying to be humble, right? Oh, I'm wearing a head wrap because I'm humble and I know I'm keeping the laws. I know that it says that a woman's supposed to have her head covered. No, that's not the reason why you're really wearing the head cap, the head covering. You're really wearing the head covering because you got the same amount of hair as me underneath that head wrap, man. Because you know you've been plagued, man. That's the reason why you're really wearing the head wrap, not because you're trying to be humble. Because you know that your head top looking like Samuel L. Jackson underneath, man. Because you was proud, because you was putting all these products in your hair, trying to flex on men when you think that you're looking fine with this weave in your hair. But then you try and pretend like you want to cover it up afterwards. We know the tricks of you Israelite women, man. We went to schools with you. We dated you. We went to college with you. We've seen you at universities. We've worked on jobs with you Israelite women. We know what time it is, man. We've had you as sisters, as mothers. We've had you as aunties. We know all the things that you Israelite women are about, man. We know that you're full of it, bro. We know. We know all the tricks, man. We've seen the wicked side of all of y'all, man. And that's why we know that there's things that the scriptures say about you is true, man. We know what time it is with God and you women, man. And let's go in more on this. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 25, thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war, because all the men that have pushed you women up to make you women be able to get away with madness, which who's the main person that did that? Esau, right? The so-called Caucasian. He's the main one that's allowed you women to run around being mad out here. He's the main one that's allowed you to do it, but he's going to fall in the wars, man. In the war to come, he's going to fall. He's going to fall, man. Your main lover is going to fall in that day. And all the things that he was allowing you to do, you ain't going to be allowed to do them all. And you're going to realize that he tricked you. A lot of people are going to be confounded when they realize how much they was deceived, man. And a lot of you Israelite women realize that when them lockdowns happened, man. You realize that you didn't have no man to protect you, and there was a lot of you women that are running around being hoes, right? Let me just say it straight like that, man. That you thought that you had all of these simps, right? Or you thought that you had all these so-called high value men, but you couldn't corner them up in that time. They didn't want to deal with you. They was worried about their own selves, man. You got pushed back. You realize a lot of y'all ended up realizing that you were side chicks, man, in that time, and that the men cared more about their real women than some of y'all. And Eve realized that she got pushed to the side, man. No, nobody ain't gonna be considering Eve showing up as a some kind of good thing when all hell breaks loose, man. They're gonna be like, move, man. Well, some loud mouth snapping fingers demon. They ain't gonna want that. When your belly's grumbling, you're hungry. You ain't gonna want some loud woman like that around. Nah. You'd rather be by yourself, bro. I'll take my chances by myself. She ain't gonna be no kind of help for this situation. But you women are gonna be trying to come to the men in that time, man, and we're gonna see right through you. Because we can already start to see through the whole red pill community thing that Yahweh started up and made all these men put the spirit on these men to speak. The same thing that the Hebrew Israelites have been saying, but in a more worldly sense. That's exposed men to all of you women's BS anyway. So a lot of you women are gonna have a hard time trying to fake humility when everything goes bad, because men are gonna know that you're full of it. Because they're gonna have seen some of you women on the internet running your mouths. They're gonna remember some of you women from TikTok. They're gonna remember some of you women that was from Fresh and Fit. They're gonna remember some of you women from all these podcasts. They're gonna be like, isn't that one girl that was on that podcast saying that men are ugly? And then she's gonna be there. Nah, that weren't me. No, it was you. It was you. You look a bit different because your weave's gone. Your weave's gone. You ain't got no makeup on. You look a bit different now. But that was you. Don't lie. That was you. The one talking shit. Saying that men ain't this, men ain't that. Well, go deal for yourself, then handle it for yourself, man. Since you think you got it, move from him and move from in front of my face. That's what it's gonna be for you, man. They're gonna get told, move out the way, man. Get out of my face. That's what you're gonna get told, man. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. That's what a lot of y'all are gonna get told. And some of you, it's gonna be even worse than that. Straight down the middle like that, man. Let me get it, man. Some of y'all, it's gonna be worse than that, man. Some of y'all, man. Micah chapter 7 and verse 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as the mire of the streets. You're gonna go back to the streets, man. You're gonna belong to the streets, you know, the mire of the streets, man. You ain't gonna be able to just think that you're gonna be flying around on yachts, getting flown out, yeah. Going to Dubai, being Dubai, you know what, yeah. Flying around to all these islands, yeah. Having an Instagram, trying to fake like you bought all those tickets, as if men don't understand how expensive these tickets are to go to all of these countries. As if men don't have any idea, more so than women, and how much things cost. And as if people don't know that, hang on, doesn't this bird just work in Primark? Or hang on, doesn't she just work as a receptionist? How she got the money to be going over to all of these places when the one ticket costs £1,000, but she's going to 12 of these locations a year? That's more than she gets paid. So how she go, oh, I see what's going on. But you women don't think that men can see what's going on. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 4. And in that day, in what day? Right? In the day where all these things get switched around, the men get brought up and the women get brought down, man. The righteous men, more so than anyone else, is going to be raised up in value instantly, man. People are going to be wanting to know what a precept, pull a priest. They wanting to know scriptures. Then they're going to want to know chapter and verse in that time, man. But it's not going to be available for them to know, because the men now are going to be arrogant, like how everybody else was arrogant. We're going to stand in boldness before the face of such have afflicted us and made no account of our labors, right? Like a very righteous man perished today, right? A very righteous man perished today, man. And the thing is, not many people even know. And people that would have grown up around him at that same time, when he would have been in his 20s and all of that, when he would have been a younger man, and women that would have heard about him getting into this, they would have thought, man, what's he doing? He could have been this, he could have been that, he could have been this, he could have been that. Some of his women that he would have had would have left him, right? And now them hearing about him dying, they would have thought, some of them would have thought, see, I told him that he wasn't going to see the kingdom. He just wasted his life. That's what they'll think. They'll think it was a waste of his life, because they don't understand that the works that he did are going to carry with him into the kingdom, and then he's going to end up coming back on the earth again, standing in great boldness before the face of such an afflicted man. I wasn't even going to talk about this, man, but Yahweh's making me speak about this, right? Isaiah, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 1. But the souls of righteous men, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of Yahweh, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery. So people that don't know anything are going to say, see, they might have known what his real name was, right, in the world or whatever. They might say, see, I knew that he should have just did that job that I told him to do that time. He was a good speaker. He was a powerful speaker. He could have been a manager here or there. He could have ran business. I told him he should have did that. That's what they'll think. They say, see, I told him he should have did that. Because they don't have the understanding to know that further things, more his works that he did, have extended into the next life in a good sense. Whereas their works that they did in this life, the scoffers, their works have extended into the next life too, in a bad sense. So when they come back down again, they're going to be catching hell. But when he comes back down again, he's going to be coming back down to everlasting life. Verse 3, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. So he's in peace right now, man. That man's in peace. That man's in peace, man. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And that's what's ultimately getting ready to happen to certain members of the elect of the nation of Israel. They're getting ready to have their heads put in guillotines, man. They're getting ready to have their heads put in guillotines. And you know what, man? We deserve it anyway, man. We deserve to not be alive anyway, because we're not righteous, man. That's why the scriptures say, who shall lay anything to the charge of Yahweh's elect? It is Yahweh that justifies, because we're not righteous anyway, man. We've done wickedness, man. In our lifetime, we've done evil, man. We have. But Yahweh's justified us if we're of the elect, man. So even if our heads do get removed from our shoulders, that'll be an even more glorious tale to say in the kingdom, man. Oh, that was that, bro. He didn't care, man. He said, don't care. He said, I don't business. Cut my head off. Devil. Yeah, he said that. He didn't care, man. They thought he was gonna run away. He just stood there and said, do it. What are you waiting for, man? I don't need to say nothing to you. You don't need to say nothing else to me. Do what you came to do, devil. There's gonna be some people that are gonna be bold like that, man. And there's gonna be some other brothers that might be less bold, but they still know that that's gonna be their lot too. They ain't gonna be scared, shivering me timbers in that time. Oh, nah, I can't do this. No, Yahweh's gonna put a lion-like spirit on them in that time, man. But people don't have any understanding. They'll think that a man, because he died now, that means that, oh, see, he was wicked. No, it don't mean he was wicked. It don't mean, oh, he wasn't of the elect. It don't mean that. It means that Yahweh had mercy on him, and he fulfilled his works that he needed to do in his lifetime. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 5. And having been a little chastised, they should be greatly rewarded. For God proved them and found them worthy for himself. So he proved himself to be worthy. He didn't end up becoming a scoffer. He lived a whole 80 life and stayed believing in Yahweh, man. He stayed believing in Yahweh the whole time. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over people, and their Lord shall reign forever. Exactly. And that's what he's going to come back to, man. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he have care for his elect. Exactly. And who can say that that man was more than likely? Well, who can say that he wasn't of the elect, man, with all the things that he did in his lifetime? I heard Apostle Gabar today say that he prayed that the rain wouldn't come down from the heavens, man, and it happened. Now some scoffer will say, nah, but that was just because that they messed up on the weather trend, the weather forecast. Well, you can think that if you want to, man. You can think that. You can think whatever y'all want to think, man. A lot of people never think things are what it is until they see the truth. You know, it's the person that sees things way into the future that's the real one that's saying things. Like, for example, John the Revelator, what he saw when it was wrote down, so that the Revelation 13 and 16 the Revelation 13 and 16 chapter can be written. If we would have saw that same vision, considering we're in those times now, we'd have said exactly what it is based on things that we know now. But him seeing that vision thousands of years ago, saw things according to how he spoke then. But if we saw the same vision, we'd be like, man, that they're hitting him with them RFIDs, man. Yeah. And you don't seem like you can buy or sell anything if you don't have that. That's what we'd have been saying. But what would we say if we saw something 2,000 years from now? What would we say if we saw some, like, heavenly? I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about, man. It's like a country or an island that floats in the sky. How would we explain that? We'd explain it based on how we talk now. But if we actually lived among those times, how would they explain it? Well, they'd know the exact name of what it's called, for starters. They'd know the name of what it is. Just like how John's vision back then, people would have known, he wouldn't have known what it was exactly then. But the people that live among those times now, which is us, would know the exact name of that. But we haven't been given that vision to see. We've been told what his vision was, what he saw, and been given the spirit to receive what that was that he saw through wisdom, which a lot of people don't have the wisdom to understand what the Charagma is. But there's a lot of men, the reason I'm mentioning this, because there's a lot of men that are going to die for not taking that Charagma, man. And people can try and say, nah, that would never happen. Well, all right. If you want to think that would never happen, that's on you. But I know that the scripture, I know what's in my Bible. I know what's written in my Bible that I got from the store. I know what's written in here, and in here it says that people are going to be. Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his Charagma upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with a Moshiach 1,000 years. So I know that my version says people are getting beheaded. I know that my version says that. Now, what other people want to think that their version says, and they want to think it says something different, well, that's on them. Because even if you didn't believe that it was the Charagma, right? Why would you think it's a good idea to put something like that into your body and have the most evil person on the earth that did all manner of wickedness to your ancestors and to you? Why would you want him to know everything like that about you, and to know how many steps you've did in a day, to know what your heart rate is at different times in a day, to know how many hours of sleep you had, to know what items are in your fridge, because that's one of the things they're planning on doing too with the Internet of Things. Oh, every single time you open your fridge door that you don't own, because you own nothing, can be happy, and you're happy now. So every time you open your fridge door, a little sensor goes off, and they know, he's only got 5 milliliters left of milk in that, so he needs a new milk. But he's actually met his milk quota for the week, so now he's going to have some cockroach milk or something. That's what they'll try and do, man. Or now he's going to have cockroach milk because he's ran out of his cow's milk usage for the week or for the month. So he's gonna have to use, and actually his carbon's run out too, so he's gonna have to jog to work now. And in fact, he needs to, we're gonna recommend that he jogs to work because he's been eating a bit too much recently. So his BMI has gone a bit too high. And that's too far for the BMI that he needs to be able to work efficiently when he works at his station at the plant. That's what the kind of world they're trying to make. So why would you want that anyway? It would be better to have your head removed, man, than live in a world like that. And that's why the world has been made so demonic for us anyway. So that we don't want to be here. So that we can build up our spirit so that we're like, you know what, do it, man. Because what is there down here for us like that? The women don't respect us as men down here, right? We ain't balling down here, right? We don't get no respect down here. We don't own nothing really down here. Our children don't have a life down here. All the jobs are going to eventually be taken by robots. So what is there to really be hoping for down here, man? What is there to be looking at like this place is sunny? Okay, the sun's shining right now. So what? So what, man? Everything's destroyed. We don't have a nation, really. We're destroyed down here, man. And we desire a heavens to come. We look for a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. And I think I've spoke more than enough, man. Like, I think I've spoke more than enough. I burned out the women, telling them that they need to fix up and that they need to humble their pride. And I spoke about how righteous men leave the earth and people think that it's a joke and think that they've wasted their life. But no, you having time on this earth still, you're wasting your life because you're spending your time doing things that are wickedness and you're adding wicked works unto yourself. But that man, and men like him are adding righteous works unto themselves, man. But you know what? All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.